Are we good now?
We're good. Perfect. Hey, everyone. Greetings. I'm so excited to be here with you all, and I've got a really special guest. I want to introduce Kim Bright, and she is the founder of Brightcore Nutrition. Kim Bright is a health and wellness professional and a trailblazer in the nutrition industry. Since the 1980s, she's appeared on local, nationally syndicated radio and television programs, and she's taught listeners how to improve their health. Kim has given lectures to groups across the United States, and she has also individually consulted with more than 15,000 people. And I must say, I received my shipment of your products, and I've been going through them and taking them and also reading your literature. And I just want to say I really appreciate, before we get into the details of this interview, I really appreciate the approach you've taken, because it's all facts, no hype. It's, fully documented explanations of what each of these healing ingredients can do and what their health benefits are. And you're obviously in a space that's very full of all kinds of claims. And I just love that you present things in such a clean way with such integrity and stick to exactly the healing that these products have shown for so many years. So the first thing I want to talk about is life expectancy. And there's an article that appeared on bbc.com that our producer will post. And again, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wolf. I appreciate you having me, and thank you for those kind words in your opening and your appreciation.
Of course. So there's some kind of shocking news about life expectancy. I thought that we were just kind of living longer and longer, but well, as you see from this headline, Ms. Bright, global life expectancy is declining for the first time in 30 years. And I really want to talk about that. And before we dive in, there's also a rather shocking clip about Putin and Xi wanting immortality through organ transplants. So we'll have that clip from our producer, and then let's dive into it together, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Putin and Xi talking about immortality. There we go. So creepy. So creepy. Talk about that. What did we just see?
I mean, they're talking about using organ transplants to create immortality for themselves. I mean, that is so evil, while the rest of us, our life expectancy is declining. So they're laughing and discussing how to use other people's organs to extend their own life. I think it's very evil.
It's shocking, and it's so shocking to see that juxtaposition of the BBC headline saying that, after I think nearly a century of people's lives getting longer and longer, health getting better and better, nutrition getting better and better, that now we're seeing a decline. We're going back in time, even as, for most people, even as these global elites are already planning their own immortality. It explains so much. I mean, that is a really chilling clip and a chilling juxtaposition. And there's more about life expectancy declining, right? Isn't there a thinkglobalhealth.org article that we should take a look at, Sean, our producer, showing that global life expectancy is declining for the first time in 30 years. Not only that, but that in 2014, US life expectancy peaked at 78.8 years. And then in the next several years, it fell modestly before tumbling downward in 2020 and 2021. So it the discourse is that COVID is the reason for lower life expectancy in the 20th century, but the decline began before COVID. The sharpest decline since 2020 didn't happen when the pandemic started, but rather since the vaccine was introduced.
That's right. I believe that really has shown up in so many different things. Since they used the vaccine, we've seen, more heart deaths related to heart, diabetes. Now we're seeing that COVID's no longer in the top 10. They're saying more people are dying from suicide. And it's not, life expectancy is not bouncing back the way that we thought it would. And COVID was the primary sharp decline in 20 and 21, but now we're seeing, still anything related to heart. We're looking at premature deaths and complications since the COVID vaccine. And, of all people, especially, I have to congratulate you on what you've done over in Europe with that presentation about the Pfizer papers and all of your work that you've done regarding, how women are bleeding from this COVID vaccine, how, there's so many things that are causing deaths that are related. It can be you pull the string and it's back to those COVID vaccinations. And yet, we do have people committing suicide. People were in lockdowns. They couldn't, communicate with each other in person. We've had so many mental aspects of ill health since these times. So we're really dealing with tremendous health crisis. And of course, we're going to limit our lifespan when we have had all of this onslaught of attacks on us as human beings.
Right. Absolutely. Well said. And you're kind of in the front lines, Ms. Bright. I mean, you're consulting people directly.
Please call me Kim. Please call me Kim, Dr. Wolf.
Please call me Naomi. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Kim. No, I really want to hear what your patients or your clients are telling you about the health problems they're suffering, especially if there's been a change. And before we do that, can you tell me how you got into this profession, this mission? I love seeing a woman CEO and also, a family company and a company that's so kind of hands-on with its products. Tell me, what your trajectory was to get into this line of work.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Well, I started out as a model and an actress. I was going to go down that direction. And ultimately, I wanted to produce and direct in Hollywood. And I got out there. I went to college for 6 months in Europe. And I decided, nope, this is putting me in a box. I don't like the whole result of this. I don't feel free. And I want to just go do what I want to do right now and apply the craft. And so that's where I went. And then I saw what Hollywood was about. And I never took drugs, but what I did was I was taking a lot of alcohol, and alcoholism runs in my family. And I had a near-death experience in Palm Springs.
Oh, wow.
And I met my maker. And
can you slow down a little? I know my audience really wants to hear the details of this. So do you mind saying, like, where were you? What triggered it? What was it like? What was your maker like? Like, we all want to know about this.
All right. Well, I was in Palm Springs, and I had been drinking all day, laying out in the sun. It was my first appearance on TV. And I was reminding everyone, and there were some famous people, I'm not going to name them right now, but around the table, and we were all drinking and having dinner. And then we talked through it, and it was over, and we didn't watch it. And I got so upset. And I went into the kitchen, and I grabbed the first thing I could find after drinking all day. And it was a half a gallon of cappuccino liqueur.
Oh, wow.
And I went to the other side. It was a double condo down there. And I went to the other side. I locked the door, and I just drank that. And I literally now I know I had alcohol poisoning.
Can I just jump in for just a minute, Kim?
Sure.
Was it a suicide attempt, or did you just want to get.
Absolutely not. Suicide has never crossed my mind.
Okay, so you just wanted a drink, basically.
I was angry and I just wanted to go be by myself. And I thought, I'm just going to drink. No, suicide never crossed my mind. And so I just drank. And so I literally left my body. I remember being above my body and going and seeing a tunnel of light, going towards the light, and then just feeling this incredible, indescribable, golden field of just love. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just overwhelming, and telepathically, that's how I can describe it, was asked if I had done what I went to do and down there, and I knew I hadn't. And I was given the choice rather to go back or to not go back. And I asked to go back. And the next thing I knew, I felt my body being shaken. I was above my body again, seeing my body being shaken, and asked if she was dead.
Oh my gosh.
And they had broken the door open. I don't know how long it was. And then, I woke up and I never had DTs, which I was drinking a bottle and a half of any kind of booze, mainly, tequila, all kinds of things every day, 20 cups of coffee with cream and sugar in it.
Oh my goodness.
I would, I'd have to get myself up and get myself back down. I was over at CBS at the time, and I was in the workshops over there for acting. I was in Beverly Hills Academy dancing. I was working 4 different jobs. So I didn't sleep a lot. But so I came back in my body. I had no DTs. And I've had a lot of friends who were doctors after that and said, you went from drinking all of that caffeine and all of that alcohol, and you just went into a fast and you didn't have any problems.
Wow.
And I said, no, I just knew to fast on water for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then I went into my first health food store I ever went into was in Torrance, California. And I picked up Let's Live and Prevention Magazine and started investigating and reading and trying to understand how in the world at age 20 did I come to live like this and be like this, and what I wanted answers. And I just was like a sponge from that point forward. I self-educated myself, attended with people that were thought to be crazy and now are thought to be absolute geniuses in nutrition. Some of them aren't with us anymore, but I started reading books all the way back from the 20s and all the way up, anything I could find to try and understand. And I just became a sponge. And then I went on to do, juicing. And after the fasting, I knew to move into juicing. And I read old books on juicing. I read herbology. I started studying all kinds of different non-Western approaches, and ended up in Boston at the Kushi Institute studying macrobiotics as one of the things, and also teaching there. And also, studying, as I said, with a Korean teacher, with acupuncture, acupressure, with very famous, wonderful woman, Shizuko Yamamoto, who was taught me how to do shiatsu. I was looking at all kinds of healing modalities for people. Wow. And that's how I healed myself. And then I started helping heal other people. And I grew up with a grandmother who's in some medical books, who had 68 major surgeries.
Good Lord.
She worked at a TB clinic when she was 14, and she was very sick. She lived to be 98, believe it or not. But it showed me Western medicine, that side. I understood what Western medicine could and couldn't do and what it was for. And I realized that the real deal is understanding our own bodies, understanding what God how he made them and how he provided us with things naturally, and that when we take petrochemicals which have been forced on us by Rockefeller taking over the medical schools in the 30s, and because his petroleum, he wanted that in our different medicines as a basis.
Mhm.
There was a lot of undoing of peeling the onion to try and figure out on my own, which I knew I would never have learned in college. And in fact, my family said, if you're so interested in this, you're studying such weird, bizarre things. We don't even know how to tell people what you do. Why don't you just go back to school and become a doctor? And I said, because again, I'm going to be in a box. I'm going to be told by, the powers that be above all the doctors what I can and can't do. And I love my freedom too much. I am too much into looking at a person as a whole, from the spirit, from the mind, and from the body. And I want to be able to help people on all those levels.
Wow. I mean, what a story. So let me just kind of drill in just a little bit, and it just like full disclosure. I also had a near-death experience, and our audience, my mom's a past life regression therapist, which may or may not be of interest, but the idea that we're here to do a thing is very familiar to me, and many of us feel instinctively that either we are or we are not doing what we came down to do. Did you, when you knew that you hadn't done the thing that you're on the planet to do during that near-death experience, when you were talking to the source of light, did you know at that time that it had anything to do with healing or nutrition, or did you just know there was something else you were supposed to do?
I just knew that I hadn't done what I came to do, and I didn't know. I thought it was, being an actress and a singer, and then becoming a producer and a director. But at that time, that wasn't even in my space, Naomi. It was just, I knew the answer was no. I want to go back.
Right.
And when I came back, and it was all of a sudden I had this knowledge about fasting and walking into a health food store and drinking just water and then going on juices. I didn't know any of this. I was raised with a typical American diet. I had no clue about nutrition. I had no clue about anything. That all of a sudden I was imbued with knowledge that, and my feet put on a path that I had no idea I would ever walk down.
What a beautiful story. And there are over 1,000 people now listening live, and we're getting lots of thumbs ups.
Hi, everybody.
Kim Bright of Brightcore. But I also have to notice, you're describing so honestly, and I thank you so much, because just statistically, probably 20% or 30% of the people, listening in any audience are struggling or have struggled with addiction or, substance abuse of some kind, alcohol abuse, et cetera. It's very, 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 very common. And as you know, it can really run in families. What I also have to notice that you cured yourself of a major, substance abuse addiction, over, I don't want to say overnight, but if you were drinking that much and instinctively did all these things and then stopped drinking, or stopped drinking in that way, isn't that also hugely newsworthy and important? I mean, doesn't that suggest a way forward for a lot of people struggling with substance abuse? Would you say more about that, please?
I think it's a direct spiritual connection to your maker. I think that that's what healed me, and my faith, and knowing, and believing that, who I was in front of. And I also never thought of myself as an alcoholic, because I could go days and not drink anything. It wasn't that I was doing that every single day over the full year and a half or 2 years that I did that. I did say I was doing it every day, but the truth was there would be days where I wouldn't have anything. And so to me, if you're an alcoholic, from what I saw growing up with my parents, with my dad, and then my grandpa on my mother's side, they had to have it all the time.
Oh, wow.
And so, but then I wanted to find out why, besides what's in my DNA naturally from alcoholism running my family, what else caused me to go to that extreme. And when, of course, I studied macrobiotics and understood Eastern medicine, in which I studied Ayurvedic, I studied different, different modalities, traditional Chinese medicines, not as, for years, but enough to understand and comprehend in order to help people.
Mhm.
I saw that, yin and yang, there's extreme yin and extreme yang. And when you reach the end of that, you turn into its opposite.
Oh,
And
wow.
so when you understand where the food energies are and where they lie on that trajectory, think of it as a teeter-totter. When you're a child and you do something and it makes it go all the way up, and then it goes the other direction. So you walk into a bar. What's sitting on the bar? Just to give an example, you've got salty peanuts, you've got dulse up in Maine, you've got anything salty. Salty is very yang. So what is alcohol is very yin. You have the extreme ends of this whole thing that we call what we eat every day or drink every day. And when you start to understand how that works and how that works in your body, and I looked at, wow, I was brought up with lots of meat, yang, and then I was brought up with a lot of sugar, yin. And I was salt, and you go back and forth, and you start to understand. No wonder I was out at the extreme ends.
I see. So you think, in retrospect, it was an imbalance that had already developed in your system, even at the age of 20, to lead you to want to consume that much alcohol,
along with my hereditary, my family's actions, because we can change our condition on a daily basis. That's 90% in my estimation, in my in what I've seen in my empirical experience with people. 90% is what we choose to have in our environment every day, put in our mouth, the thoughts we think, the things we're watching, anything that is coming in, the frequencies that we're around. Other people and their frequencies. We choose that, whereas we can't choose what's happened with our parents and our lineage.
Right.
And that has that's about 10%.
10%. Unbelievable. So you went on in this journey and you learned all these different modalities, and then at a certain point, you decided to become an entrepreneur yourself, right? So what was that inflection point?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur. In fact, I started around age 7 when I needed some money for something, for buy Christmas presents for people or birthday presents or something. In the summer when I was out of school, I found we had some old plastic flowers in the garage. So I went and I cleaned them up and I went door to door and sold old plastic flowers. Embarrassed my mother to no end when she got home, but I made the money I needed to get what I did. And then probably a year later, I was selling Christmas cards and holiday cards door to door to raise money for the school. And then I got different things for that. I've always enjoyed talking to people. I've always enjoyed being an entrepreneur, being free to think and see what it was that excited me. What was I interested in? What was my goal? So, I've had a lot of different things that I've done in life and business wise and everything else. So, and I started Brightcore almost 29 years ago. My son now, wonderful son, he took over a few years back. And so I'm, it's so wonderful to have it as a family now.
I love that. So it's the second generation who is taken over, or he's running the family business, but
and he's worked with me since he was 5 years old.
How fantastic. So did you take, I'm guessing, all the things you learned as you were learning these different non-allopathic, non-Rockefeller medicine modalities of healing, and use those to formulate these products? I mean,
yes. A lot of the products, and I had the first non-smoking restaurant. It was an organic restaurant in Westport, Connecticut. Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward used to come in there. She tried to get a consultation with me we could never get together. But yeah, I have so many areas in farming and everything that I've utilized my knowledge. I have a farm and studied organic, and just I wanted to understand from all different angles how we stay healthy.
Right.
What controls our health? How can we take responsibility for our health? How can we not hand it over to the doctor who's on the pedestal, which is what Western medicine wants us to do? So I've had that angle of opinion for a long time now.
Wow. Well, I'm really, I feel very inspired. And the more I learn too about, I'm just a baby just starting, but the more I learn about kind of allopathic healing or traditional healing, the more convinced I am that your approach of kind of learning from everything, holistically has to be the right one. And that's very, very inspiring. So you were saying, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know that you've been called crazy. They called me crazy.
Really?
I got called crazy. I got attacked very early on and continued. But you know what? When you know something's true and you believe in it, you put one foot in front of the other. And that's what I've done. No matter, I had so many naysayers, including my own family, including, friends. And you just go forward because you know what you're teaching is correct and right, and you're helping people.
Well, I was going to say
almost 50 years.
Say that again.
I've been doing it almost 50 years. I'll be 71 soon. So
I'm really glad you said that because I was dying to ask how old you were. You look fantastic, and what an inspiration that one can look so good and seem so vibrant and vital, whatever decade, right? I mean, I'm sure that's the conclusion you've come to, that it's just a number, depending on.
That's right. It's just a number.
That's so cool. Well, I wanted to. I'm sorry, I'm just processing that. That's super inspiring. I'm 63 and I'm going to turn 64 in November. And
November, good. I'm a November baby too.
Are we both Scorpios?
I have a lot of Scorpio in me, but I'm just over into Sag.
Right. Well, it's a fabulous part of the astrological chart generally, but the more I meet people in this space who have cracked these codes, the more hopeful I am about getting older, really so from what you're saying, it doesn't have to be a journey of loss of function, loss of looks, loss of energy. I mean, it seems like you're saying one can be vibrant and healthy all the way through, right?
That's right. But it takes discipline. It takes interest in your own health. It takes responsibility. It takes a lot of things that a lot of people, because they've been raised up to believe that you put your health in the hands of someone else because they're expert, because they went to college, they went to university, they know more than you do. And I'm sorry, but I have to say, when I used to lecture to doctors on the road back in the 80s, they had no idea what GMOs were. They had no idea about what I was talking about. Some of them would get up and leave. They were so angry that they hadn't learned this, and they'd spend all this money. And the people that stayed were podiatrists and other doctors that, the medical people look down on a lot. Wow. So to me, don't ever think that anybody knows more than you do about your own body if you will take the responsibility to understand it. And that's the key. If you don't want to take the responsibility and you want to hand it over, I used to counsel people and they'd come in and they'd say, well, where's your degrees? I mean, I say, I don't have any. Do you need those? Are those important to you? Okay, well, then I'm not your person. Wow. You need to go down the street 2 blocks and take a left, and there's a wonderful doctor there. So I wouldn't see people that wanted, degrees, because I learned from very esoteric people that are now considered incredibly knowledgeable and were made fun of then. And so to me, I went for the truth, not for the document on the wall.
Well, I was going to say, if you started this company 29 years ago and you were on this path 50 years ago, you were way ahead of the curve. And I'm sure people were calling you crazy at various decades for things that everyone who's minimally educated understands right now, like the importance of nutrition. Right? What did people call you crazy for, if you don't mind my asking?
because they thought the answers were in Western medicine. When they said, don't listen to her, taking this herb or juicing something or doing massage or doing these other things she's telling you to do, that's not going to change anything. You need to go to your doctor. You have cancer. You have fourth stage cancer.
Right.
You have this, you have that. And I used to sit there with people and I would look at them. And I remember one lady who just broke down crying because I said to her, I looked in her eyes and I said, you have breast cancer and your husband cheated on you.
Oh, sorry.
And
I got upset at that because I have to hold him. How did you know that?
I just knew it. I just knew it because I knew it, and I don't know how to explain it anymore. With everything I've studied, it just all comes together and you know things.
Right.
And she broke down crying and she said, I have never told anyone.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you know that, but it's true.
Oh my
So I think when we look to study all these other things that have possibilities, we become more of who God intended us to be. Hello, puppy. Hello. And so, I just think we are so much more capable than what we give ourselves credit for. And I think there's so many answers out there that have been unexplored yet. But, talking about cancer.
Yeah, yes, I wanted to ask. They're bringing out a universal cancer vaccine now. And I know we have a clip about that from livescience.com that our producer will show. Talk to me about the dangers there, because they're going to try to get everyone to take this as well. Obviously, they've already invested in the technology, but is that going to make everyone healthy?
Well, again, this is a Western medical approach. This is an approach saying, let's attack cancer instead of going, what causes cancer? That's always what I have come from is, okay, we are a whole person. We have to understand what caused something, what went wrong in our body, not to attack a symptom that is the end result of our choices and what happened. But now they want to come up with another vaccine. We know that, no matter how hard they try, health is not found in a vaccine. Natural immunity is superior to our synthetic immunity. And this is what they're not, talking about. They want you to stay hooked to the whole Western medical approach and think that the answer is in a shot when, and I'm sure you know this, Naomi, most of our immune system is in our gut, 70 to 80%. And that is, everything starts in our gut, whether it's our health or whether it's our sickness.
I actually did not know that most of what affects our immune system starts in our gut. I didn't know that.
Our immune system is in our gut, 70 to 80%. And also another thing that starts in the gut is how quickly we age, because it's the combination of oxidative stress, inflammation, cellular metabolism. I mean, people are aging faster than before. And that's, due to the imbalance in our gut, the toxins in the air, the chemicals in our soil, and other external factors like vaccines. But the whole thing is, our gut is like soil to a seed. When you have the microbiome in the gut balanced, and when you have the soil balance, you're going to produce an incredible healthy plant. When our microbiome is in balance, we are going to be incredibly healthy because everything starts there. And what most people don't know, Naomi, is we can actually fight aging on a cellular level starting in our gut.
I did not know that. Please tell me more about that. I would like to fight aging at a cellular level.
Well, there was a study that was done, and it was in vitro, and it introduced human cells, different ages, young human cells, middle-aged human cells, and older human cells. And they used hydrogen peroxide to speed up the aging, okay? That's accepted. And so what happened was so miraculous, though, that they put kimchi, which is a centuries-old fermented food from Korea. They used an extract of kimchi and put it in each of these in vitro, with the cells.
Mhm.
And you know that it actually slowed the aging of those cells. It
Really?
slowed the aging on a cellular level,
Wow.
no matter if it was the young cell or the middle-aged cell or the older cells. They actually slowed down the aging by using that kimchi extract.
Wow. Wow.
And so the aging on that cellular level, and then it's slowing the age of the tissue, and which is a combination of cells, of course, which ultimately is slowing the aging of our overall body. I mean, isn't that amazing?
That is extraordinary. I had never heard that before. How could an extract of kimchi slow aging in vitro? What was the mechanism? Did they explain that in the study?
Well, the mechanism is that kimchi is the king of fermented food as far as I'm concerned. I mean, throughout my history and at the very beginning, I started looking at diets from all over the world. I wanted to look at, why do the Hanses live to be 130 years old? Why do, people in all these different areas, what are they eating? What are they doing? What are they thinking? How are they exercising? How are they living? How are they sleeping?
Mhm.
I was a sponge, as I said. I wanted to know all of this. And
I'm sorry, my dog is barking, and I know we're going live, but I'm going to hold him on my lap because I'm alone in this apartment, and my producer will cut the parts where he barked.
It's totally fine. I love puppies. Oh, is he a poodle?
He's a Shih Tzu poodle mix. He's an angel, but he's very protective.
Oh, I love him. He just wants to contribute. So, the whole thing is, with the kimchi, it's so powerful because it has over 900 different probiotics. That means for life. Okay. And there are unique strains. And as I dove deeper and deeper into looking at, the kefirs, the yogurts, the, Bulgarian yogurt, the this, the that, the pickles, the sauerkraut in Germany, I found out that kimchi was the king of fermented foods.
What makes it better than sauerkraut or, all these other fermented foods? I mean,
the 900 different unique probiotics, nothing comes close.
Kimchi has more probiotics than other fermented.
It's more probiotics, but it's what those probiotics do. I mean, we don't have time to get in it today, but another show maybe. But the whole thing is, there's so many different aspects that these probiotics that don't show up in any other fermented foods go in and attack, like aflatoxins, which is poison in us, mycotoxins. I mean, I could go on and on, but we're going to go down a whole nother road here. But their antimicrobial properties are so important with kimchi. It is antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, antiparasitic.
Wow.
The whole thing here is, as we're aging, we are becoming more susceptible to viruses. You're getting sick more often. Your bad bacteria, especially if you've been taking antibiotics, because antibiotic means against life. So you are killing off the good guys as well as the bad guys in your gut. And then you are allowing for fungus overgrowth like candida. You're not going to get rid of it. Then you're allowing for an environment, a swampy environment in your gut, like parasites to come in and infest yourself. And they're causing symptoms that you're not even aware of, of that the parasites are even there. But you, by taking all these, and antibiotics, believe me, have their place, but we have overused antibiotics to such a degree that it has destroyed everybody's gut microbiome. And I would say that probably 90% of people have been on at least, 2 or 3 more rounds of antibiotics in their life. It only takes one, because if you don't understand how your gut works and you don't understand the importance of your gut and how it affects your brain, you have a gut to brain connection, you have gut to skin connection, gut to heart, it goes everywhere. Everywhere blood goes, the gut is affecting everything.
Goodness.
And so you have such an overpopulation of the things that God put in us to destroy the body, bring it back into the soil when we die. But we don't want to die today, Naomi. We want to live. So we do not want those evil, nasty little microbials, the parasites, the fungus, eating us up early and causing us to go out of balance to the point where we are dying, and we are demonstrating symptoms that Western medicine has dubbed with different names. And when you look at the whole, it all comes back to our gut.
Wow. And I imagine, Kim, that some of these symptoms from all of the things you've described, the microbes, the viruses, the fungi, the parasites, manifest in symptoms that lead people to go to their doctor and say, I feel I have brain fog, or I'm fatigued, and then they're given pharmaceutical treatments that have other side effects. Am I right? I mean,
you are so on the nail here. You are so on the nail. When I was lecturing doctors around the country, and they would tell me that they never even, nutrition wasn't even an elective. Now, this is in the 80s. And if they had nutrition, it was maybe an hour or so. It was nothing. And so, yes, so what they're trained to do, because look who funded the majority of medical centers in the universities and the colleges was the Rockefeller Foundation. Going back to what does Rockefeller Foundation want to do? They want to promote drugs. And they want to promote, they want to make a lot of money, and big pharma wants to make a lot of money. And so they're in there, they're educating these doctors on address a symptom with a drug. Get your prescription pad out, write a prescription, and don't look at the person as a whole. When did we have doctors, Naomi, that, remember the old country doctor that had his little bag and he could go and do anything? He'd go out to the farmer and he could deliver babies. He knew what the heart problems were. They looked at the whole person. They have segmented Western medicine to specialize. So you don't look at the whole person. You don't look at the causes. You look at symptoms. And when you take a drug, you're going to then come back 2 weeks later and say, it's not working. Now I have a headache, or my I got a little clink in my get along, or whatever you want to say. He writes you another prescription, and pretty soon down the road, you're on 15 different prescriptions. And all it is doing is a downward spiral. You are not curing anything. Look how long we've been trying to cure cancer. Cancer is just an advancement of the body being out of balance. It is an advancement of not understanding pH. It is acid and alkaline. It is a not understanding that when you eat ultra-processed foods every day, you're destroying your gut microbiome. When you're eating sugar every day, when you're smoking, when you're drinking sodas, when you're drinking alcohol, it is not this thing, this all of a sudden cancer appears. You chose it.
Oh, that's so harsh though, Kim. I mean,
it is harsh, but I'm telling you, you choose what you put in your mouth. You choose who you're around. And a lot of people do not understand, Naomi, what they're doing. And I don't mean to be harsh, but the whole thing, and if they have cancer running in their family, that means their family, that was imbalance in their family. And then when they got pregnant and passed that on, what I want people to really understand, that we are on a downward spiral of health for decades. We need to get and make that spiral go upwards again. And the way we do that is understand how our body works and what the imbalances that are created that we eventually call things like cancer.
I thoroughly believe you, but what happens to, what do your clients or your patients say?
I don't have patients. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a medical doctor either, but what do your clients or the people you consult say if they do have cancer and you say you chose it? Isn't it say more about that? Because I can imagine a lot of people listening are like, I didn't choose my cancer. I happen to have spina bifida occulta, so I'm kind of hobbling around and using a lot of alternative methodologies to stay out of the surgeon's hands. And that's really important to me, but I don't think maybe I chose it, but if I chose it, it was on such a, abstract karmic level. And like, why did I choose it? I would much rather not be. Can you say more about that? Because it's like, I love you and your mission and your message, because it's so uncompromising and intense and true. Like, I can feel that it's true, but I also want to understand this part of what you're saying.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. The reason that I'm saying that is because, again, it goes back, and it could be generational, because people tend to eat what they grew up with, and women tend to, or men tend to continue eating what they grew up with. And if they're eating things that aren't contributing to health, it's weakening the RNA and DNA. It's weakening their cellular structure. It's weakening their tissues. And so even though we're not aware of how our body works, we made those choices. So ultimately, that is what I'm talking about here. Now, like I said, we've never been educated. I had to go out and find this education. Mm-hmm. We need to educate people so they can take this responsibility and not depend on something that keeps them in this sick loop. And I'm so grateful for RFK Jr. I'm so grateful for President Trump for having him come in and start to expose the things that are wrong, and for all of us to understand. But I don't mean to have people feel bad about themselves, because again, I didn't know that I had helped, make me want to drink by my choices when I was growing up, with sugar and so much of these things that I ate that were not contributing to my health. Right. So for me, and I certainly didn't understand microbiome or know anything about it. I didn't know about my gut, how important it was. I had no idea. I was shown that when you get sick, you go to a doctor, he gives you prescriptions. My grandmother took lots of prescriptions, or you go get surgeries, or you go do this. But the thing is, for people to understand, you do have a choice. You can make your life better. You can do things on a daily basis to create health in your own body and turn that downward spiral back again and go back up and be healthy, even if you think it's too late. It's never too late.
I'm glad to hear that. No, it's interesting. I'm observing my own reaction, and I'm thinking about, my own like health condition, and I'm thinking, this is actually kind of inspiring. It's not me. I imagine your other people you counsel feel the same way. It's not demoralizing to be told I have a responsibility about my own health condition. It actually makes me want to ask myself, why did I manifest this health condition? What is it saying to me? What have I done? And then I'm thinking, well, yeah, I have been eating sugar, and I did have a couple of drinks a few nights ago, and it did make my hip hurt more. Like you are kind of calling us to be radically responsible for our own bodies.
That is a great way to look at it. And I don't believe we're just physical. Mm-hmm. I believe we are spiritual beings first and foremost, that are having an experience in these bodies. They are our cars we're driving. And are we being reckless and driving into things and creating chaos? Or are we driving along very nicely where everything is humming along well? But we are spiritual beings. We have a mind, we have a brain, we are living in these vehicles that we can either be driving around a clunker, or we can drive a Rolls Royce. And, it's what we choose to do. Wow. But we have to accept that we are responsible. And that's a hard thing, because, we've been lied to in so many areas, haven't we, Naomi?
Oh, totally. Well, let me drill in, if I may, and people are responding the way I did, which is kind of a revelation. Emma Cox said exactly what I was thinking. This is very inspiring. Thank you. You kind of expect it to be the opposite, like people run away saying, "Don't yell at me. Don't tell me I did this." But it's actually like, this actually makes me feel rather empowered. So do other patients, or I'm sorry, clients, consultees, feel, let me put it a different way. As you're talking, and this is more even energetic than the words you're saying, right? But as you're talking, what I'm feeling is the allopathic medical system doesn't just lie to us, right? It also profoundly wants us to be passive and without agency. And the whole narrative is, oh, things just happen, right? Things just happen. You have no choice but to come to big daddy or big mommy pharma and big mommy and daddy medicine and, you know, throw yourself on our mercy. And you're saying exactly the opposite. And I think that's really profound. Do you think that that mental approach, that it's up to me to heal my body, it's up to me to know about my body, it's up to me to take, you know, be accountable for what I put into it and who I'm around, is that approach itself part of healing?
Yes. It's making a decision and recognizing who you are. And also, you have to heal not just the body, but the mind and the spirit. And so, whatever is your way of thinking, I love God, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I'm Christian, and I know you're Jewish. And so, whatever your spiritual connection is, you need to be grateful and get up every morning and understand that that's first and foremost. And then what you look at feeds your mind. I think this whole tumultuous thing that we're going through with these children that are, you know, in their teen years and young 20s, I'm so hurt and my heart is broken because we haven't been helping them to look at things that encourage health in their minds and in their bodies and in their spirit. And we have to.
Well, truer words were never spoken. There are a lot of concrete questions, so I'm going to go ahead and hold up a product, everyone. Let me get a little more light on it so you can really see it. And this is part of the wonderful package that I received here. My husband and I are so excited. And this is Kimchi 1. And I took some right before this interview. And it was very easy to take. And the reason I mentioned that is I was thinking about kimchi. I will be honest, I don't like kimchi. I know I should eat it. It doesn't taste that good to me. I didn't grow up tasting it. My mom didn't make kimchi for me. It's just, you know, I can't figure out what to add it to. I kind of force myself. But this was very easy. I was able to take 3 capsules, glass of water, you know, over and done with. Talk about why you created this. I mean, you've told us about what kimchi does, which is so extraordinary. And what has it helped people with?
Well, you hit the nail on the head again. Sorry to use that idiom again, but people, I first learned about kimchi when I was studying martial arts when I was, 23, and my teacher was the highest black belt in Korea, and he took me to his home and introduced me to his mother and his wife and his mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And I had dinner with them. And when I tasted this fermented stuff that kind of had a really weird smell for the first time, I had to keep my manners in because I didn't want to eat it. It did not taste good. It smelled funny. I wasn't used to it. And yet then my body just, as soon as I got it down, my body just craved it. Wow. It wanted more and more and more, which told me I must need this, but I was repulsed at first. So when I would try and teach this to people, because I used to teach cooking classes, I had a center where I taught people, how to live healthy. This was, back when I had my restaurant as well. And so to me, I was like, okay, this is one of the most important foods that you can put in your body every single day. You once you taste it, your body needs it, it will crave it. But it may also be repulsed at first because that is a traditional way that the body reacts sometimes, repels things that we really need. So we wanted to give this to people so it would be convenient, because a lot of people say, I won't make that every day. I won't make that every 3rd or 4th day. I just won't. I don't want to smell it. I'd take it if you could put it in a capsule. So guess what? No mess, no odor, no taste. It's there, and you have to take it every day because, again, we go back to, if you want to heal the gut and you want to heal your body, you need to do this every day, because think of how out of balance your gut is. And so it's not something you can do now and then. It's something that you put in every single day to aid and abet that microbiome, so the good guys can flourish and the bad guys go down. And when you make homemade kimchi, or you buy homemade kimchi in a store, or someone gives it to you, it has a lot of salt. So people that are dealing with low sodium diets, they have a hard time eating kimchi. So we have virtually no sodium, unlike that other kimchi in these capsules, which a lot of people appreciate. But what it's helped with people is, first and foremost, people will say, oh my gosh, I tried everything. I couldn't go to the bathroom for a week. I would go once a week, or 3 times a month, and I'm going regularly right away. Their digestion, they notice they're not burping, they're not having gas come out the other end, they're not having acid reflux, and they're not bloating, and it's not happening for them, and they notice this within days. People tell us after they've taken it for a few months that they used to get sick all the time. Now their immunity is coming up. And so they're getting sick less and less. Energy levels. So many people had chronic fatigue after taking those COVID vaccines. They had problems where this now, they have no more chronic fatigue, and they're living life to its fullest. And it looks like obesity as well. We've got all kinds of people that have smaller waistlines now. They're losing weight, and there's been obesity studies out there that show that having kimchi, you really do lose the waistline, and your body mass index changes. Their skin is glowing. They look younger than they have in years. Their hair's growing back. Even people dealing with post-vaccination syndrome, as I said, who couldn't pinpoint where the symptoms were coming from, they finally found relief. With the aches and pains, with the joint discomfort, with being unable to sleep, not being able to exercise. Those things have gone away after using Kimchi One.
Amazing. Forgive my technical interruption. We had a little glitch there. Thank you for continuing to tell everyone about what the effects are of this, I guess, supplement. We had a comment in the chat that is very profound, because you said that it helped, this Kimchi One was helping people who had taken the mRNA injection. A lot of our audience is struggling with mRNA vaccine, gene therapy related side effects, of course. And one of the comments was, does this help with the damage to the placenta caused by the mRNA injection? Can you speak to that at all?
So is this person pregnant and having this? Is that the question?
My understanding is that she either is pregnant or has a loved one who's pregnant. So it's a general question about the placenta. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything you can do to strengthen your gut is going to then strengthen the whole body, which is going to help strengthen the placenta. So by balancing out your gut and getting rid of the and overpopulating with the good bacteria, which helps bring us health, which helps put the balance back in, I would say that I would definitely use it, and that it can't hurt, and that empirically speaking, yes, I have never had anybody say that has helped them with that. But if you just think logically, then it would. Would it not?
Yeah. And I'm also looking at your brochure and thinking about your other products. And, since I know that inflammation is one of the, consistent effects of this injection, I know you've got other things that address inflammation, like I'm sure your beetroot and your turmeric and curcumin complex. I imagine you would recommend that for people.
And sweet wheat, the wheatgrass juice. But let me tell you, kimchi really goes after inflammation.
Really? Oh,
Yes. So the kimchi one would be excellent. And that's why people that have had the COVID shot, that had experienced the aches and pains, had experienced the joint pains, had experienced no energy. This is all inflammation is at the very basis of all of these things. So when you're reducing the inflammation, other things are going to get better.
wow. Amazing. Sadly, we've come to the end of our time, that the hour flew by. Is there anything that you feel we didn't cover that you want to be sure people know before we say, I hope a temporary goodbye to you? I know there will be lots of comments and questions online as this interview circulates, even after the live version.
Well, I want to really, express again that the way that you are going to get well and stay healthy is to take great interest in your own health and to take responsibility to do that, and to look to making your gut better, to enhancing your gut microbiome with those wonderful good guys down there, and getting rid of, and or not getting rid of, but reducing the balance and getting that gut back into balance by reducing the pathogens. And so what I want to do for your viewers and your listeners, Naomi, is I want to give a special for them today, so they can use Kimchi One, try it. We have 90-day money back guarantee. They can go to mybrightcore.com/wolf and get 25% off by clicking the link below here and using the code WOLF. Or what I would really prefer, because I love to educate people, the people that work for us, they know their stuff. They've, like I said, I want to help people, and our people want to help people. We want to answer questions they may have. And so I give an incentive for you guys to call in to 888-575-4996 for up to 50% off. And we're going to give you free shipping. And if you're one of the first 100 callers, more incentive. You're going to get a free bottle of our Radiance Vitamin D3 plus K2, and which is so vital for your overall health. It is one of the best things for it. So please call. We can make sure that this is the right product for you, which I assure you it probably is. But call now, 888-575-4996, to get those incentives, up to 50% off, free shipping, and that free bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2. And I would just say, in these tumultuous times, the more that we can make ourselves healthy on different levels, we will be an energy that will be calmer in this midst of chaos that we're living in. And when we can make ourselves calmer and healthier, we then influence those around us and bring that to them.
Wow. Beautifully said. I really do feel so inspired. Everyone, you heard Kim Bright. And again, if you go to mybrightcore.com/wolf, you'll get 25% off. And if you call her, you'll get 50% off. And all the details are also at mybrightcore.com, I imagine. Right, Kim?
Mm-hmm.
And
but we really, call us and talk to us. Don't be afraid. Everybody speaks English, and we're real, and we want to help. That's the whole basis.
It's a really generous offer. I know everyone watching really appreciates it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you spending this time with us. I can't wait to dive in and take this every day and report back to all of you about how it's going for me. But I just want to thank you again for making solutions for people who feel overwhelmed, feel alone, are in pain. It's so important. And I hate to let you go, but I'm going to have to let you go. But you guys, Kim Bright of My Brightcore and go ahead and try Kimchi One. It's so exciting. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too, Kim Bright.